Coming up on Science News Weekly, lively explosions, who's mining space, and thinking in tongues. What's up next on Science News Weekly?
Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiT.
Bandwidth is provided by Cachefly at CACHEFLY.com.
This is Science News Weekly with Dr. Kiki. Episode number 10, recorded Thursday, April 26, 2012. The Logical Choice. This episode of Science News Weekly is brought to you by Audible.com. To download a free audiobook of your choice, go to audiblepodcast.com/science news. It's April 26th, 2012, and these are the science news stories that made headlines this week. Was the Cambrian explosion triggered by geologic events? According to a paper in the journal Nature, a gap in the rock record of the Earth's history called the Great Unconformity provides clues to and was possibly the catalyst for the massive diversification of life during the early Cambrian, 525 million years ago. The gist of the mechanism is that erosion, as a result of the repeated rise and retreat of sea levels, released massive amounts of ions into the oceans for which organisms had to evolve adaptations. And eventually those adaptations would give rise to shells, bones, teeth, claws, and other mineralized structures. However, supernova might have been involved as well. A review of supernova explosions within the Milky Way galaxy going back some 500 million years has given rise to the idea that periods of diversification on Earth coincide with bouts of exposure to regions of increased star formation. Supernovas and galactic cosmic rays, according to the study, which was published in the monthly notices of the Royal Astronomical Society, supernova activity influences the Earth's climate, making it cooler and more likely to lead to glaciation, and those climatic changes have a positive effect on the diversity of life on this planet. A company called Festo in Germany has created a robotic hand controlled by a glove called ExoHand. The glove is really an exoskeleton, which is manufactured to perfectly fit the user. They laser scan your hand to make a glove that fits you like a glove. And the user's hand movements then are detected and transmitted to the robot, allowing precision movement. And a company called Planetary Resources launched this week in Seattle, Washington, with the goal of mining asteroids. Funded and advised by the likes of James Cameron. It seems a bit like a movie plot, but this is real. Planetary Resources will begin developing space telescopes to scan for asteroids and eventually create and build robot spacecraft for surveying specific candidates. Their first demonstration mission is set to launch in 2 years. Oh, and they are also currently hiring. In a fascinating example of the resilience of life, Japanese scientists found that insects that ingest a specific strain of bacteria gain resistance to an insecticide called phenitrophthion. That's right, bean bugs swallow a bacteria known as Burkholderia, which are capable of breaking down and detoxifying the insecticide, giving the bacteria a nice, safe place in their gut, and are rendered immune to our poisons. This study was published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences. A study published in Nature Physics paints an intriguing picture of quantum entanglement and correlation between future and past events. Using a technique called delayed choice entanglement, the researchers describe experimental results suggesting that the choice to entangle particles or not affects the results of earlier measurements. I'll say that a different way. Measurements taken at different points in space and time appear to affect each other, with no apparent mechanism of information transfer involved. Seriously, the universe just got a little bit weirder for me. And finally, if you were hoping to make a rational decision today, you might consider making it in a foreign language. Researchers at the University of Chicago found that thinking about a risky proposition became more logical and less averse to bias when done in another language. The results suggest that thinking in a second language reduces the brain's ability to rely on emotional reactions. This episode of Science News Weekly is brought to you by Audible.com. Audible.com is a leading provider of audiobooks with more than 100,000 downloadable titles across all types of literature, including fiction, nonfiction, and periodicals. For listeners of Science News Weekly, Audible is offering a free audiobook to give you a chance to try out their service. One audiobook you might consider downloading is Guitar Zero, The New Musician and the Science of Learning by Gary Marcus. To download this audiobook for free or another one of your choice, go to audiblepodcast.com/science news. That's audiblepodcast.com/science news. And that does it for the science headlines this week. Let me know what you think about these science news stories, or tell me what you think should be news by emailing Dr. Kiki at drkiki.tv, or leave me a voicemail, 650-741-5454. To watch the full episode of Dr. Kiki's Science Hour, head over to twit.tv/Kiki. That's it for today. I'm Kiki. Thanks for watching.